I know people that do that. I know individuals like myself. My husband and I, we carry our own health insurance. We're both business owners, and so, I mean, when you're paying and you're not having employment insurance, our monthly, wages, I think is like $1,100-$1,200 a month for just a basis of insurance. And similarly, I have friends that are in the same boat, and they will do the exact same thing. They will go to a doctor, they will receive it, but because unfortunately, I might pay X amount of money per month for those types of benefits, but I'm not getting much coverage. So you could very well call those companies, and it's about time. Like if you call a company and you could negotiate up to 40% of that, and I've seen people do that.
And those people who have means and education can do that. But the people
I
who
agree.
don't have
Right.
the means
Yes.
or the education,
Yes.
and they're just struggling,
Yeah.
they don't have a chance in
Mhm.
the
Yep.
system.
Yeah, because it's very hard to navigate the system. I mean, it's so hard. And unless you make the intentions to do it, and I mean, unfortunately, when you're sick, you don't have time, you don't have energy to do anything. So it's hopeful that you have someone that's advocating for you and able to take that over. And like you have had that spouse or otherwise, because if you don't know how to navigate it, it's a confusing, I mean, every year when we go to look into insurance, I'm confused. And this is part of my health. I mean, this is part of my industry. So I totally resonate with that, and I get that.
So would you help people do that?
I personally don't. I work in integrative health medicine, so what I offer is preventative health care. And so personally, that's what I think I'm trying to do to better the scenario is take people and say, let's look at your health from how you know, and let's, rather than you only taking care of your health when it becomes a problem, being attentive to it at all the time. I'm a proponent of lifestyle medicine. I think your lifestyle should be a part of what you're doing every day and how you should be benefiting that. And unfortunately, like I said, we're waiting till we're sick before we're bringing attention to it. But I personally couldn't help you with that. I'm sorry.
I think a big part of the problem is too that some of the preventative is covered like your normal yearly things. But I mean, I know, and I know my coworkers are afraid to go to the doctor half the time because nothing's covered.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're hit with this, we go from really good insurance to now we're hit with insurance that you've got a $3,000 or a $5,000 deductible.
Yep.
And it covers nothing.
Yep.
And then even after you reach that deductible, if your doctor's not in that network, which in my case now is something nobody's ever heard of,
Yep.
the insurance, then if you're in network, they'll cover 70%, but if you're not in network, they cover nothing, so
Mhm.
everything's out of pocket.
Yep.
So then, you're afraid to go in to
Mhm.
get anything checked because you don't wanna be hit with all these medical bills.
Yep.
So then it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't know if the healthcare's gonna get better or if it's gonna get worse, but it's very worrisome.
Yeah. I mean, you would then become you're a non-conforming patient. Then, like, if you are not doing your wellness checkups or things, then that's a penalty against you. And it's an interesting thing. Like, I mean, that's it. We go for wellness checkups, and 365 days later, let's do that again. And aside from maybe those tests that gave you an aha, I mean, unless you're going in and saying, hey, doc, I got something wrong with me, they're doing your typical checkups and you're going about your way. And it is unfair that, these insurance deductibles are outrageous. And then, like you said, you come to a coverage, $13,000 is my deductible cost. That's what I have to hit before I can then get any of my payment. So it's like $1,000 a month, every month, that I'm paying for no coverage. And that's our reality insurance right now. And so it's like a family of 5 for myself, and it's like I am a well-off person. I do well enough, so thankfully I can afford that. I can do those things, but for the average other family, that's detrimental. And especially if you're a child, let's look at the statistical odds of neurological developments in today's society. Autism and ADHD, these are things that need medical attention, and this is more expense, and it's like you said, it's just a continuous, and something has to change, for sure.
So I think it's interesting that in our conversation about emotions and money, so much of the conversation's around healthcare. And I do think that's kind of an overriding anxiety in our culture right now. as we've said, we don't know what's coming with healthcare. We don't, there's competing ideas and values around that, and so certainly there's a lot of uncertainty. And that can, those medical conditions can kind of undermine all of your other financial plans at this stage of the game. What I'd like to do, are there any other questions? I don't want to cut off questions, but I don't want to. We usually go to lunch, and we're a little early for lunch, so I thought we'll go ahead and move into some small group conversation. We'll do our small group conversation, and then we can break for lunch and do big group conversation. So if the two of you would like to join the table, we'll start with just kind of where we did our reflection. What would you do with $1 million? And I'll take 5 minutes to talk to each other about what we would do with $1 million.
I don't know how to do it. No, I'll start because I don't know what. First thing for me is that's not, it's not admirable, but it's not. Oh, I go out and buy whatever it is I can buy. Then, something because everybody knows it's not our first step. I wish I could say it did myself. But then I do have a small sense of frustrated at the absence. And then the third thing I would do is I would ask well, I'm not sure. Then, you know what? Worry and then guilt.
So at a younger age, I would definitely exist for the future than an older age. Even though they could.
And well, I think part of that too is I've been finding out is we have this insurance that different masters charge. They don't charge just the same across the board. So that's where the insurance are saying we're gonna make this much or that's what's interesting.
If you don't came out of vacation, so when it turned into. Discussions I was having.
I put pay off my house, buy a new payment on just money in the bank, obviously.
But.
You know, but what I do is
Two different companies that had.
Yeah, that's number one.
And then I, when I do get sick, maybe, we can handle the bills and stuff for the winter emergencies. Obviously, I'd like to be the doctor. Which we try to do, but we don't really care in shelters and stuff like that. So we're not able to do the big things
All right, next question is, what did you learn about money growing up? What was the message you learned from maybe your mother figure, your father or your father figure? Maybe your church or your school or your peers? What did you learn about money as you were growing up? 5 minutes while we get lunch ready.
That comes to my mind.